What if I told you the reason your relationships keep falling apart has nothing to do with your partner and everything to do with you? Have you ever wondered why, despite your best efforts, things always seem to end in frustration, conflict, or disconnection? Today, we're diving into one of the biggest reasons men struggle in relationships, and it's not what you think. See, most of us are taught that to succeed in relationships, we need to be strong, assertive, and in control. But that approach often leads to the very thing that we're trying to avoid, failure. You might be thinking, I'm not trying to control anything, I just want things to work. But control can be subtle. It can show up as defensiveness, constantly needing to be right, or shutting down when things get tough. Maybe you've been in a situation where your partner brings up an issue, and instead of really hearing her, you immediately jump into problem-solving mode, trying to fix everything. Or maybe you find yourself getting defensive when she expresses her feelings, thinking that she's attacking you personally. Those are the signs of leading from fear. And the truth is, many of us are leading our relationships from a place of fear without even realizing it. And when you lead with fear, the relationship is bound to crumble. The key problem here is control versus love. When we're trying to control a situation or even a person, we're acting from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being vulnerable. And what does that do? It shuts down connection. It blocks intimacy. Fear tells us that we have to keep our guard up to protect ourselves and avoid looking weak at all costs. Imagine a man whose partner says she feels distant in the relationship. Instead of asking why and listening to her, he responds with something like, I don't know what else you want from me. I'm doing everything I can and it's still not enough. What's actually happening here? He's leading from fear. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of being criticized. So instead of hearing her needs, he shuts down, pushes back, and tries to control the narrative. Now, let's compare that though to leading with love. If the same situation happens, his partner says she feels distant, and this time he takes a deep breath and responds with, I hear you. Can you tell me more about why you're feeling this way? This response is coming from love and not fear. He's not trying to control the outcome or fix the problem right away, but he's leading with curiosity, compassion, and a willingness to understand. He's creating a space where his partner feels heard and seen. Now, here's why this shift matters so much. When you lead with love, you create a space for your partner to feel safe, valued, and seen. See, love isn't about fixing or controlling. It's about allowing both of you to show up as who you are without trying to change the other person. Love says, I'm here with you in this moment and I want to understand you. And fear says, I need to control this situation so I don't feel uncomfortable. The truth is, most of the time we're trying to avoid feeling uncomfortable. We want to avoid tough conversations, the messy emotions, and anything that feels like a threat to our ego. Now, let's say that you and your partner are arguing about finances. If you're leading from fear, you might shut her down with statements like, I'm handling it, you don't need to worry. Or you might lash out and say, why don't you trust me? I'm doing my best. But leading from love would look so different. You'd say something like, I know finances are a tough topic for both of us, and I want us to be both on the same page. Can we talk about what's worrying you and work on this together? See, when you lead with love, you stop trying to manage the outcome. You're no longer clinging to the need for validation or trying to avoid discomfort. You start embracing the uncertainty that comes with vulnerability, and that's when you can truly connect with your partner. So picture this, a scenario where your partner comes to you feeling overwhelmed by her work. If you're leading from fear, you might say, why are you so stressed? You're overreacting, it's not even a big deal. See, here you're trying to control the situation by downplaying it, likely because you feel overwhelmed or unsure of how to support her. But leading from love would sound more like, hey, I can see that you're really stressed. What can I do to support you through this? See, you're not trying to fix it or dismiss her feelings. You're showing up as a source of comfort and strength. Now, if any of this resonates with you, I challenge you to reflect on how you've been showing up in your relationships. Are you leading with fear, trying to control outcomes or avoiding vulnerability? Or are you leading with love, showing up authentically, ready to create a space for both of you to grow. The truth is, leading with love is not easy, but it's the path to deep, meaningful relationships that last. If you want to dive deeper into this topic and learn how to step into your power in relationships without fear or control, I want you to check out my next video on how to embrace vulnerability as a strength. Trust me, it will change the way you approach not only your relationships, but your entire life. Now, if this spoke to you, I want you to hit that like button, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe on how to show up as the best version of yourself in your relationships and beyond. Let's lead with love, brothers.